Hello, everybody. I am Michele Amburgey, the Awakener, and I am so excited to be doing this interview today with my beloved star sister, Lemia Astarabadi for RaMa Holistic Care. I am so excited. There's so much that Lemia brings to the world, and they've got RaMa Holistic Care, they've got their sliding scale yoga, and they've got their Sacred Scent Aromtherapy. And the aromatherapy is something that we're going to kind of focus on. But first, Lemia, I want to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, and then let's talk about RaMa Holistic Care and what you offer through that, because you do so many different things. And I really want everybody to know what you're offering the world, because you're such a blessing. And we're in this time right now of this great change. We know we're moving into a new plane of consciousness, into a new earth, however we are perceiving that. There's so many different ways people are looking at it. But people need you, and people need what you offer. And the aromatherapy as well is something that has been powerful medicine that's been being used for thousands of years. And now that, things are changing, people are turning back to that. And so I really want to hear about your aromatherapy line, because it is it's beautiful, it's pure, it's created in sacred ways. But let's first introduce you, and then let's talk about RaMa Holistic Care first. So drum roll, please. Lemia.
Thank you so much, Michele. And I just want to acknowledge you because you are amazing, and you're a gift in both mine and Joshua's lives. And thank you for doing this and taking the time. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
So yeah, I'm just a person, but I was a middle school teacher before all this. And I had some abuses as a child that kind of got me to a point where, as I was teaching other children, things were coming up for me, and I wasn't able to really know how to handle them, how to cope them. And I had heard about this guy that was this massage therapist that was kind of like an exorcist massage therapist. And I decided to go to him because I felt like I just need to release something. I need to clear something. And that experience was the start of my whole journey, because in the middle of that massage, I really I coughed up this black stuff, things came out of me. I felt it was like this spiritual cleanse. And at the very end, I cried a lot. It was just a lot of processing. At the very end, I saw myself with my hands on somebody. And I was a middle school teacher. I had a master's in education. I was set in my career. I owned a house, I was like, all right, I'm set, I'm just going to go along the way of normal humanity. And that vision was could there be another option for me? Could there be another path for me? And so I decided at the end of that teaching year, I decided to take a year off, and I was going to go to Hawaii, which is where this man had trained under this kahuna named Auntie Margaret. I was going to go and study with her, and I was going to learn Lomi Lomi massage. So I went for a whole month and had this life transforming experience. And then I went back for the level 2. I was the only student, and just me and her. I mean, she does enemas. She's hardcore massage. It's not just massage. It was holistic health. And something was wrong, she'd go out in her backyard, she'd cut plants, make a tea. So plants were a big part of all of that.
Oh my God.
And just coming out of that, I didn't even know how to come back to California after being for 2 months in Hawaii. But I completely transformed. And from there, I just knew I was on a different path. I went into holistic medicine school, and that's where I met my partner, Joshua. And he and I were both in relationships. He was married and I was in a relationship. And so we kind of left each other alone, but there was a vibe. There was something going on there. And just so happened that in my relationship, my boyfriend, he actually tried to choke and kill me at the same night that we found out later that he ended up leaving his wife that he was married to at the time.
Whoa.
Months later, we became friends and went to coffee and just kind of hung out, and it all came out. Then we kind of went on this journey together. It was like, all right, massage and just kind of adding techniques. I got introduced to a yoga style that I brought him into. We got certified, we trained, we became teacher trainers, traveled the world doing that. Got into aromatherapy through the yoga. Somebody there was using like medicinal aromatherapy. I had been actually using it my whole life since I was a kid, but it burned my skin. It was like, you know, it was something you could only smell, you couldn't really touch. So getting to the point of like, oh, I can bathe myself with these oils, great. And that took me to another level, another layer of healing. Just realizing that, wow, you know, it takes a trauma, it takes going through something to initiate you to even want to get help, right? And so for some people it's an accident, for some people it's childhood trauma, for some people, you know, it's something that happens in your adult life, but it's that trauma, I feel that for all of us kind of guides us to our path and guides us to return to who we really are. So I'm grateful for it. And then from that, you know, it's just kind of shedding. It's like you get yourself into different communities and different spiritual realities, and then you realize that not everybody is the sheep. You know, some of them are the wolf and they look like the sheep. So that's been a lot of the cleansing, excuse me, for the last decade, is just clearing out, whether it's family stuff, you know, yoga communities, aromatherapy communities, all these spiritual communities. You also have to navigate your way through that, you know, so it's not just coming into your own healing. It's like, wow, this is a whole world. And in that, I think he and I kind of found like our niche and found who we are and found what works for us versus being told, do this, you know, it's kind of embodying it. I think that's the phase. Like you get your initial healing, you submerge yourself in it, you go into different communities, you learn from people, and then you find like who you are and what you are here to give. And for us, it's working, you know, massage was kind of the starting point. I went to massage to animals. I do doula work. We are in a band called The Conscious Groove. We do mantra music. So it's just kind of, it's been evolving over time. And the aromatherapy has been the steady thing through the whole thing. To have the plants to ground in every part of our cycle, to have the plants to be like, you know, plants are so much higher frequency than humans are. So to have them as our teachers and not to have the ego part, because that's something the plants come with. Like they have so much to teach. They have strong voices. They have strong personalities, but they leave out the ego. They really just want to leave you to your free will. They want you to explore yourself and to learn on your own. And I think we realized instead of following people, we want to follow nature and the laws of nature. And the laws of nature have to do with our hands. You know, all these lines in our hands are telling us the story of who we are and what we need to work on in our health. It's noticing your eyes, your face, your ears, you know, they're all part, our feet. When you have an injury, left side, right side, you know, what the body part means, like really like looking at our body and our lives as a roadmap into our healing journey, and that it's continuous, that there's no stopping point. You know, right when I got to a point of like, this is what I am, this is what I'm doing, that's when a lot of things started coming down of like, all right, you want to do this work, I'm going to give you some things to do, you know, like you got to work on this, you got to, but the underlying theme, I think, for my own life has been forgiveness, to be able to move past whatever's happened. Because I think when you get stuck, that's where we see all the issues in society. That's where we see jealousy, envy, we see control, we see abuse. It's when we get stuck in what happened to us. And I start to look at my abuser as, you know, he was abused. I look at that boyfriend that tried to kill me, you know, what happened to him to make him do that to me? So switching the perspective and using the plants to ground and really see things from a love perspective versus I want to be right. I want to, you know, make sure everybody hears my story. And my story gets told to a fire. The fire ritual is what we use all the time to release what we need to let go of, because we don't need to bring other people down. You know, like it's all about us healing. And I think that inevitably RaMa Holistic Care is about helping you on your journey of getting past whatever it is that you need to heal to move forward, and not have to take other people down with you in that process, but really trying to own it. Energy is energy. You know, we bring things in for higher reasons that we don't even know. Like if those things didn't happen to me as a kid, I would have never gone to that massage therapist. I would have never left teaching. So I have to be grateful for the traumas and the things that have happened that are bad. And by sharing stories and by talking to people and helping people with the plants actually bring more things out than actual conversation. They have so much.
Notice that.
Yeah, they go in and they're like, all right, this has to come out now. But working in that way, I find, is a lot more healing than the lashing out and the things I used to do as a kid. You know, it's like just learning new ways to deal with adversity, because let's face it, the earth is a dualistic place. And we all have to find, it's like balancing on a balance beam over, you know, these high-rise buildings, and you're terrified of heights. We all have the strength to do
Yikes.
it, but we have to cultivate it. We have to go inside and we have to bring it out of ourselves. But we all are so strong. And I think it's our mission to empower people and make people realize that you have everything that you need inside of you. And sometimes you need a little crutch, you need some plants, you need some breath, you need movement, you need, you know, a good cry, you know, you need to look at things with new perspectives, have a different way of looking at your life. And that helps us just to take another step forward. And I would say that's a big part of our healing work. Like, we want to work with people that feel that they're stuck, that they feel that they've lost hope. And we want to help to show that we've gotten out of places like that, and you can do that too.
Yeah.
And plants are really our saving, honestly.
Oh, it's so amazing. I know the first time I used a plant essence, and someone had put it right here on my high heart, and I'm like at a festival, I'm all woohoo, you know, and it just touched me. I felt it drip down, and I just burst into tears, and I just sat there and sobbed. And bless that young woman, you know, she was so young. She was like, looked like she was like 12. And she was like, and, you know, so sweet and talking me through it. And I just looked up and I went, what was that? And she said, a true plant essence. And I've been on the journey to work with the plants through that myself. And I was so excited when I found out that you guys were doing your own business of that. You're creating your own and doing your own. I haven't heard the whole story of that, and I really would love to hear it, because oh my gosh, I don't even have words for it. I'm so excited. Tell us about how you came up with the Sacred Scent Aromtherapy, and how you make it and what you do it, and everything. I want to know everything.
Again, it came out of pain and trauma. And we really never wanted to own our own essential oil company. From day one, we saw that it's so much work. And, you know, every plant has its farmer, has its soil, has its country that it comes from, that it's, you know, really robust in and like strong in. It has all of its own characteristics, and we've got 97 of those. So, you know, when you start to bring in more than one, then it's a whole different game. And I think we could see that from the people that we worked for. We actually worked for a company for a long time, and we stood behind it. Like it was our life. And we actually moved to the state that the company was working in, and worked right there, and like basically ran everything at the end.
Wow.
And that's when we got to see the truth. And that was the disheartening part, because we really believed all the things we were being told. And we found out, you know, we read, we spoke to, and we asked questions, and found out that it wasn't. And I think at that point, that was the turning point of like, oh my God, like, what are we putting in our bodies? And like, what are we doing? And we've been using this for how many years, and what was in it? And it wasn't what they said it was. And, you know, it's just kind of like, it's like that betrayal. And it kind of brought me back again to the childhood betrayal, you know?
Right.
And it actually took some time. We actually took, I think it was like 6 months that we didn't even use plants. And we just kind of went into this silence. And then we started seeking out our own farmers, and we started because we were like, wait, I need this medicine. I use this every day. Like it's not okay to not be using this. Like we started to realize how much they were supporting us. And one by one, we got the things that we used every day. And then it was like, well, this farmer also plants this, and this supplier can also get this other farmer, and like, so it was like, oh, but we love this and we love this. Over the last 2 years, we're now at 97. My husband will not let me go past 100, and I'm keeping last because I have some in mind, but I just haven't found the right one. We're super picky, I have to say. So we get samples. We try them on ourselves for a couple months to make sure, like, how is it affecting us? How do we feel? And when we feel, okay, this is what we want to stand behind, then we bring it out into our company. So that's been our process. And the big thing for us, the last company we worked for, they were so against certified organic, and, oh, you don't know if it's real, it could just be paperwork. But that was, we found out, a cover, because it costs more to actually have the accountability aspect of it. So we primarily go for certified organic or wild harvested. Wild plants are they're my favorite.
Yes.
Get them in their natural state, and nothing was propagated. It's just, that's how God intended it. Those are the best. But not everything in these days that we're living in can grow wild anymore. So we go with the certified organic. So that's the number one thing. And then we have a few farmers that are in process of becoming organic certified, but they practice that way, but they're in the process. So we call it non-sprayed. So if you ever get a bottle, it says non-sprayed, they're in the process of becoming certified, but they're not quite there. But we trust the quality, and we've used them ourselves, and it's good. And then through the yoga kind of idea, and the knowing that sound affects molecules of water, and knowing that these are steam distilled plants, we don't go for the chemically processed plants. We do steam distilled and cold pressed. Those are the most natural ways of extraction. Then we go into that whole other realm of high grade quality plants. So we've got the sound quality, which, I didn't even tell you what we do. We have Ramadasa mantra playing 24 hours to all of our plants. So we have a sound kind of room that they stay in the dark, and they get this healing. Ramadasa is sun, moon, earth, infinite, infinite, I am thou. So it's connecting to all the elements and bringing that light energy in. And people say they can feel it. I've actually had someone say, do you work with Ramadasa? Like, when they got our plants. So there was some kind of, sensitivity and feeling of like, there is mantra in this. So it's they're at least bathed for 24 hours in that. Most of them have been, 6 months or more.
Wow.
Before we'll put them out. So we have that sound healing. Everything's hand poured by my husband, Josh. And that we attune to as like cooking with love. It's like when you get your hands in there versus machine. A lot of the bigger companies, they're all machine. It's all in factories. They never touch the product. So everything's touched by us. I make the labels myself. By the way, we're working on getting the waterproof labels. So we're in that process right now. One of our clients just went into the steam bath, and he's like, these don't go in steam. And we're like, okay, let's work on that. And if you ever have an issue with labels, we send you a new label. So until we work that out, but it's really organic. It's coming from our hearts, and we do the most spiritual juju that we know of, with the sound and the hand pouring and just putting our love into it. And we feel that makes a difference, and our clients say it does as well. So we have 4 hydroliths, and hydroliths in the steam distilled process is the oil gets separated from the water, but the water was infused with the plant, in that process of distillation. So that water is not like pouring essence in water and then spraying. It's like infused water. So we have 4 of those that we use as sprays, and we use them to cleanse spaces. And the spray you can, use in different ways than the essence, and it's a little lighter. And things like rose that cost $1,000 for a 15 ml bottle, you can get a spray for 25 and you get the essence of rose. So we have 4 hydroliths and then 97 essences, and that's where it came from love, a little bit of pain, and transformation, which I could say everything that we do in our business came from that process. Love, a little bit of pain, and transformation.
And we would call that an organic way of getting there.
I mean, what plant doesn't go through that process, right? It has to bust through the soil. It has to, growing pains. We all have growing pains. So it's the natural way.
Wow. And now I understand that you guys not only have these amazing essential oils, but you guys also certify people in aromatherapy.
Right.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Right. Well, we used to teach for other, like I said, the other company. We taught for a long time. I have a master's in education in writing curriculum. So kind of that, it's a nice marriage of two worlds coming together, because I enjoy writing curriculum. I know my stuff, and it's also a way for us to bring in things that we didn't have in our trainings before. We really believe in the meridian system in the Chinese medicine. We really believe in reflexology and being able to use the body as a map, and also the mind-body connection, like really understanding if I have a headache, maybe I'm thinking too much about something, maybe I'm dehydrated, but maybe
Right.
I have too many thoughts, and what am I circulating through, and how can I ground? So looking at the step beyond the physical of why ailments are happening, our training is kind of it's a way to kind of approach healing in like the unseen realms first, and then get to the physical. So we're looking at your birthday, why these diseases or things are happening to you based on your numerology or your astrology. All of this is in our training. So it's not just learning about essences. It's like really like we've got this plant and all of its dynamics. We have these people and all their dynamics. How can we work with all these unseen forces to bring these two together and really have a transformation, have a powerful exchange, and have something new come through for that person so that they can get past whatever it is they're stuck in.
So it's really an entire healing modality, not just a certification in aromatherapy.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. We actually turned it into a 101 and 102 because it was a 32-hour training,
Oh
and
my
everyone
God.
loved it, but they're like, this is serious. Like you should break it into two parts so that people can take time to assimilate, the
Yeah.
basic knowledge of aromatherapy, and then look at the body and how to use it and how to help people, how to say, you've got this. This is what that organ means. This is the time that organ's cleansing. These are where you find the organs in your body. This is how to anoint and the plants that will work with those organs. You get a 350-page book that has everything in it. So if you miss anything in the training, you're going to have that manual to be able to go back to. It's like the Bible for us for aromatherapy. It's really, really amazing. And
Wow.
that's come out of all of this work. So yeah, we're super
Wow.
excited we've done about 4 or 5 courses already, and people have said, like you said, my whole life has changed. Like I've never looked at my healing process this way. I've never looked at people this way. I've never looked at plants this way. I've never talked to trees this much in my life, or hugged them this much. I never realized that a flower could tell me so much about myself, so it's
Oh,
just opening this part of us that we all had at one point. It used to just be us with nature. That's it. We didn't
right.
have buildings, we didn't have rubber on our shoes to prevent us from connecting, like we were fully connected. And I think it's kind of coming back and returning to that, but in this modern age, so that we can live in this world, but also connect back to our roots of really being grounded in nature and the laws of nature, how the moon cycles work, working with
Yes.
waxing and waning moon. That's huge. That can really change your life when you align what you're doing in your life with those cycles. So it's all a part of that course. It's really like a life training through aromatherapy.
Oh my gosh, Lemia, I had no idea that I got to get in on that.
And we're now offering an extensive. So people that can't do it, or don't want to do it in just 2 weekends, we can do it over 10 weeks. So
Wow.
have an extensive that we're offering now.
So where do people go to find this? Is it your website? Is there a sacred? Blah, blah.
They're
I'm
together.
so enthralled, I can't talk.
They're together. So RaMa Holistic Care is like the main website. But if you go to sacredscentsaromatherapy.com, you'll go to RaMa. It'll take you to RaMa, but the part that's the sacred scent. So it's all kind of together. The conscious groove is a separate thing, but the music or the holistic health and the aromatherapy are together.
Wonderful. And so if they go to the website, will they find where you have classes set up that they can join?
Yeah, we have an Essence of the Week class if you want to start simple. Just every Monday for half an hour, we offer one essence and we go really deep into it and how to use it and what it's for, the history and all of that. We do that every Monday. We have a little group. Most of the people do the recording. So we have a little private YouTube that we send the recordings out for those that signed up for the month.
Wow.
And yeah, you'll get 4 or 5 depending on how many Mondays there are that month. And that's $30 for the month. So you could start by just, just dabbing into it and getting to know a few friends. And then if you want to go deeper, then we also have what we call the Trinity Essence Workshop. So we'll take 3 essences and go deep into them, and usually has a theme like digestion or lung health or stress or, some theme. We have those workshops that we offer here and there. And then we have our course. So there's a way to get into it. If you don't want to like dive in right away, you can kind of put your toe in a little bit with the essence of
Oh my gosh. I mean, I know that you guys do amazing stuff, but I am seriously just, my brain is kind of like going poppity pop, 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 pop at the depth and the breadth that you guys are working with everything, but also with the essences, because it's so important. And what came to mind when you were talking about, being connected to nature, it's so easy for people to connect back into using the plant essences because it is a part of who we are. We used to walk through nature going, hello, brother rock, hello, father tree. We lived in that. And their essences that they emitted into the air, we would breathe in, and the scents and the vibrations and frequencies, we were bathed in that. And now to have you bringing all of this back to us, because I really do believe too that we're going back to the ways of nature. I think that we've kind of reached our max. And it's not that technology is going away, but we need to bring that nature back into it, because we are nature.
Absolutely.
We are made of the 5 elements, and we have to have that in our lives. We have to have that. So are all of your classes, like, do you do classes online? Do you do them in person, all the above?
We have both options, but we're finding people, they're either too far away and they found us, in COVID, and we're taking classes from us online, and it just kind of turned into, okay, this feels natural. Because we have all these people from other countries. That's the blessing of this, that we can share it like that. And we can also ship, we can ship out, so it works. But yeah, our training, we offer it in person. We've had where we offer it online, and then we've had 3 or 4 people here in person. So we can do both. And we just put the students behind the computer. So we're all looking at each other. And yeah, it works out. We do kind of a mixture. So part online and part live. But whatever you want to do. The thing with the training though, is that you need to have the essences. So if you're not a person that can access, you can't, we offer a huge discount of 40% off just for the people in the course, so that you can have a tester kit, and that, people in other countries can, as we're learning about an essence, they can take it out and anoint. And so it's very interactive that way. But not everybody wants to spend that much money. A lot of people are excited that they can get in on this little discount and actually get a whole tester kit and then use that as their business. So it's kind of a launching you into helping other people right away, which is nice, because that discount's only for the training people. We don't offer it otherwise we would be a company.
Right, exactly. We
So,
do have to cover our bases, right?
it basically takes out, anything we would have accrued as earnings from that. But it's our way of, what is this for? It's for healing and for teaching, like we're not here. I mean, it'd be great to become millionaires from this, but that's not our bottom line. And I think that's why we're on our own, and we're not working for those bigger companies that are millionaires, because that was their bottom line. So we all have to decide why we're here and then move forward with that mission. And that's what we're all about. Yeah.
It's interesting to that topic. I had a conversation with me one time, and I was like, I know what I'm doing and I'm really good at what I'm doing. How come I'm not rich and famous? And all I got is, it would just be a distraction. It was like, but no. Yeah.
Right. Would we
And
be
it's like,
offering so much? Would we be working, like, I don't know. I'd hope to say yes, but everything happens the way it does for a reason.
yeah. And that's coming. That's
Yeah.
coming.
We're not putting abundance down. We want abundance. And actually, that's what the first thing nature teaches you is
Yes.
that
Yes.
everything is at your fingertips. You're not lacking in anything ever.
No.
It's just in here that we get the
Yeah.
lack mentality.
Yeah. And we're learning about that too so much. I think so many people are really coming into that awareness as well, too, is what we're thinking. But sometimes we need to clear that. And the plants are beautiful. There's such purity with them. And with you guys having your pure intention, it just adds to that. Oh, I mean, I'm like feeling like I'm being bathed right here, just talking about them. And that's how magical they are too.
Yeah.
I love it. So thank you so much. I want to hear a little bit about Conscious Groove too. I know you guys have been playing music, and I saw a post on, I think, Facebook or Instagram. You guys are doing an album.
Yeah, it's actually our 8th. And it's the conscious.
What?
So there's a Conscious Groove that's out there that's like a techno band. We're friends with them because we've had to tell each other's fans that you're at the wrong place. They're really, really nice people, but we are the Conscious Groove and they are so the is key if you want to find us. We actually, when Josh and I first got together, and we were healing, what we had just come out of, we were friends. He was playing a lot of guitar and I was doing a lot of poetry. And we went to this angel seminar. Doreen Virtue at the time was teaching angel seminars and she was in LA. We show up and there's this amazing woman behind us that we ended up talking to and like chatting her up like the whole time. Every time there was a break, we were like, we just really got along well. And at the end of the whole thing, she turns to Josh. She found out that he was a guitar player and she's like, I'm a singer and I'm in this album and I just need this little guitar piece. Would you mind coming in and just recording it really quick? And we're like, yeah, let's go. So we set up the next weekend, went out, recorded for her. And we had been talking, she knew who we were and that I wrote poetry and he had all these songs. And so when she was done with her thing, she's like, all right, I want to do one of your songs. And we're like, what do you mean? So we actually had some songs, but I was thinking that I'd get a professional singer to sing them because at the time I was like, I'm not a singer. And so I said, here's the song, Josh put down the guitar track and then I'm like, here are the words. And she goes, oh no, honey, I don't sing other people's songs. This is your song. You're going to go sing it. I'm like, I'm not a singer. She goes, everybody's a singer. And so she shoved me in the booth and she made me record this song. And that night changed my life. It was like, because I had always sung in the shower. I sung in my room, like blasted, I'd have the radio and I'd be singing over it because I didn't want anyone to hear my voice. But it was a passion of mine. I love singing. And that's why I got into kind of mantra yoga because I love singing. And after that point, I was like, why not? So we started merging, his rhythms with my poetry. And we had this whole first album and we met some people in massage school that recorded, were awesome musicians. They did little parts on our album. And we recorded the first one. It was called Gratitude back in 2006. And that was the very beginning. And the first song I ever recorded was about forgiveness. So again, full circle, it's the whole path, it's the holistic health, but it's also the music. Went from kind of lyrical music and then got introduced to yoga and started bringing in, our first mantra was on that CD, Lumen de Lumine. And then the next CDs after that were mostly mantra. And now we're in, it's the 7th released one, but 8th album that we've done. One of them we didn't release. And it's basically mantra and we're doing rhythms to go with this new yoga program that we're creating so that we have the music for that so that our students can use it if they want to use that music to do the practice. And right now, like with the other yogas that we were a part of, in order to use the music, you'd have to pay $150 a month. And it was like, no, we're going to create our own music, our own yoga. We're going to do our own thing. And so we want other people to use it. Like for us, just use it. Anything that we have, we want everybody to have access to. So this new album is called Free Spirit and hopefully it'll be here, but we're in process right now. We're recording with a new guy and super excited. But we are playing at the Sedona Yoga Fest this year. We played there before. And Disclosure Fest, which is in LA, is a really, really powerful festival that we'll be playing at this year as well. So we're back after COVID, we're coming back out and we're able to share, and we're super excited about that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Watch out, world. Here they come. And then your music is available on your website?
It's on theconsciousgroove.com, but it's also on Spotify.
Okay.
Under The Conscious Groove. And on our YouTube classes, we play live. So come to our YouTube channel's RaMa Holistic Care. So if you go to that YouTube channel, you'll see these interviews, but you'll also see what we call now sliding scale yoga. And it's basically all the yogas we've learned in our whole lives. Plus, I played volleyball in college. My husband's played sports his whole life. So we've had techniques from that. So it's kind of a merging of everything: health, spirituality. We anoint with essences. It's all live music. So it's everything we do is in that sliding scale yoga class. And we ask people to just go on YouTube, take a class, and then give us an exchange of energy. So when you go to our website under yoga and festivals, there's the sliding scale, and we have anywhere from $5 to $100, whatever you want to contribute. You could do a couple months and then, send $100, or you can do $5 a class or $20 a class, $50 a class, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. But our whole thing is to be accessible to everybody. We've heard from so many yoga communities that we're only for the rich and famous, or we're only for this community, or we're only for these people. And that has never resonated with us. Yeah. Like, we are one in humanity, and the things we dislike about each other is inside of all. The more we're together practicing, the more we're going to get through all this stuff. Compartmentalizing and separating ourselves is not going to get us into world peace ever.
No.
So it's all about coming together, which also reminds me that we are also part of this peace project that we're coming into. It has nothing to do with spirituality. It's actually a regular person came up with this because they wanted world peace, and it goes into little mini communities. It's called World Peace by 2030, and we're starting it here in Oceanside. It's actually something I should talk to you about outside of this, because you would be amazing for this. But yes, there's little steps that you do with your community. And you get to decide what those steps are. And it's bringing people together in the name of peace. And that's a new project for us that we really feel invested in. And we're bringing all of our other things into that, so that we can, there's so many people on our block that don't even know what aromatherapy is, don't even know what the lines in their hands mean, why they're getting sick, or, what's going on in their mind and in their heart. They're just not aware. So bringing people together outside of spirituality is also a passion for us. We feel that people need healing. This planet needs healing, and we need each other. And the separation from the last couple of years has been really, really hard on a lot of people. And we just want to bring people together.
Yeah, it has been really traumatizing. And it's so wonderful because part of that trauma, people are turning to more holistic things. So there's, that's part of that blessing in it, right? Because it's just like, wow, I can't believe how my work has changed, and the kind of people that are coming to me that I've never seen, being interested in all of this before. And it's like, and a lot of them are just like, I'm hurting so bad and I don't know why. And, it all started during the pandemic, and it's like, yeah. And, that whole thing triggered so much of our stuff. And now we're coming for healing. So Lemia, thank you so much.
I feel like I talked a lot.
That's exactly what I wanted, because I am not a professional interviewer.
Yes, you are. By now you are. You're amazing. We need to switch the gears, and I want to hear your story. We're going to have to do an interview on you, and it's time to bring your path and your story out too, because that's how we all heal, by hearing each other's stories. Yes. It gives us hope. It's like, if you got through this, then I can get through this. Yep. And that's something, another platform that we want to do, we've been talking about, is podcast style of just helping people release their stories and finding ways to get support from your community.
And that's the indigenous way. That's what they used to do, is they would share their stories and share it around the fire and share it in groups, and sometimes share it over and over and over until it was done.
Right. And that's Ho'oponopono in Hawaii.
Mhm.
You know, there's a mediator, which is, I'm realizing with a lot of family problems that you need a mediator. But
Yes.
the mediator, like they're like the shaman or whatever of the crew. And they take families through full forgiveness, you know, what's going on, and everyone gets to speak and everyone gets acknowledged, and, you know, without lashing out. But we really need that in society. I find that,
Yes.
you know, it's so easy to just be in our own worlds right now, but it's causing the fighting to just continue. You know, I mean, look, now we have a war again. We just got out of war and we're
Right.
starting war again. What is this saying about us though? Like we need to work through this stuff, and
Yeah.
it's not going to do it on its own. It's going
No.
to do our work. Like we have to do the work.
Yeah.
And
And
that's the tough part of spirituality, is that you actually have to do the work.
yes.
You can't just buy a bunch of oils and let them sit on your counter and be like, I'm doing aromatherapy, you know, or buy the DVDs of your yoga class or whatever, pay for the class, and then you're not taking it. We have to do the work. And that's a big part of this age.
And people are starting to come to it, which is such a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, and so many people are really traumatized right now. It's almost like I feel like a lot of times people are kind of like, oh my gosh, waking up like they've been asleep.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. It's very interesting what we're living through, but you know, we know that all things work towards the better, no matter how scary and yucky it looks like. You know, all things are working for the well-being of each of us individually and as a collective. And that's why we have people like you and people like me, you know, that do all the things that we do. But I definitely want to hear about that World Peace Project that you're
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
in.
talk outside of this. I think we
Absolutely.
really resonate with it.
Yeah. So all of my followers, it's coming.
Hey.
Oh, Lemia, thank you so much for taking the time and being here and talking with us. I just think it's so important that people know what you're doing, and Josh as well, and really are able to find out how to find you, how to get involved, how to begin to bring all that you guys have to offer into their own lives, you know, whether one thing at a time or, you know, I like want to jump in with all 4 feet, you know, I'm like, woohoo, I'm coming in.
You're already you just need to serve.
Exactly. Da, 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 da. And I'm so grateful to be able to know you and have you. I mean, this sounds kind of bad, but have you as a resource for my people as well, because you have so much of what I don't offer. And, you know, and kind of vice versa. And this is part of creating these communities where we all are supporting each other. And we do, you know, a lot of us do the same things, but we do it differently. The energy is differently. You know, maybe someone needs, you know, a certain kind of energy for one thing, but then another kind of energy for another. And we're moving out of that idea that my clients are my clients, right? Where we're moving into, we're sharing so that everybody can get everything that they need from all the different angles, from all the different frequencies and mindsets, to really bless and bring us all back to wholeness. And I'm just so grateful that you're a part of my life.
Ditto,
I
sister.
really am. I just love
Thank
you so much. I can't stand it.
We love you too. We love you too. He's in the dirt. He's composting, but he sends his love.
And we send him our love, and I send him my love, because that he's just such an angel. You know, he's such an angel. And I was saying to Lemia that at the beginning, I said, well, if he wants to come in with leaves in his hair and dirt on his face, that's okay.
He's also a Venus man. He would never come like that. Well kept, and then he'll be in front of you. That's what I love about him.
I was gonna say that's a nice little thing. Some men are just like, woo.
Yeah. I think I'm more woo than he is.
Oh, thank you so much, Lemia. And thank you for I mean, the stuff that you're doing and what you've taken on and what you're presenting is so much. And thank you so much for stepping into that role and stepping into why you're here and this soul mission that you're on. I mean, it's so obvious that it's from your soul. And, you know, that spirit is really moving through you to do all this. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you're here in the world. I really am. You're just so amazing. So thank you.
Means a lot to hear that. It's been a hard week. So thank you for saying that. And I think it's my only, like, it's the only thing I can do. You know, it's like when you get to that point, you know, it's like, and it's interesting because my name Lemia means coming into the light. And I feel like I was in a lot of darkness, and it was my pain that allowed me to come into that light. And I'm still coming into the light. I'm still revealing, you know, there's so many layers. And you know, I want people to know that Josh and I don't think that we're like, we've reached the summit or we're at some level, because for us, it's like, once you get to a healing journey, you're down at the bottom again, and you're just starting another journey. You know, it's like, there's no, oh, I'm here, like, I'm good, I've got it all figured out. No. And it's from learning from our clients that we grow even more. So we're in this with you. We're not, you know, your leader, your shaman, your guru. You know, we believe that the healing path is that we're all holding hands and we're doing it together. It's just when you've learned something, you share it. Right. And when someone learns something, they share it with us. And we're always learning, we're always growing. And it's the path, the humble path, you know, that's the most important thing. Keep your feet on the ground. And that's what the plants are they're always humbling us. Like, you think you're powerful, I'm going to make you cry with one drop, you know? Right. And you remember that you are loved just like I am. And that's all we have to remember.
Yeah. And that is so important, because none of us know what's going on.
No.
Not, like, across, that's the whole humanity. None of us know what's going on.
No. And we know, like, this, maybe this much out of, like, infinite. So we all need to get over it is part of it. On this spiritual path. Like, I really didn't even think I wanted to be on this path, like, after the last, you know, decade of what we've gone through. But I think we're here to be that voice for, you know, just getting out of all that muck, because the spiritual world is just like the world. It's the world. It is the world. We just call it the spiritual world, but it is the world, and it's no different. So just navigate with your heart is my advice for everybody. Let your heart guide you, and trust it. There's a lot of like, everyone's telling you no on the outside, but your heart is saying yes. Trust your heart over everybody else. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I'm in 150,000% agreement on that, because we have gotten so far away from listening to ourselves. You know, we have all these outside authorities, and we are the authority. And we get back into that. We know what is truth, and we know what is holistic, and we know what is for us. And we have to remember, not everything is for everybody, and to honor everybody's path. That would get rid of a lot of the strife in this world, just that right there.
Yes.
Amen. And let it be so.
I hear the choir of the angels. Your truth.
It's that I when I heard that word abracadabra actually means what I speak becomes, I'm like, abracadabra, abracadabra.
It's a great word. I love that.
I was so excited because I've always loved it. And then I was like, oh, it has a spiritual meaning. It is mine now.
Nice. Maybe we'll look into a song called Abracadabra. That's not the 80s version.
Abracadabra.
I'm gonna reach out and grab you.
I'm
Harry. But what's it saying? Like you're saying, you know, it has that spiritual meaning to it.
Yeah. We're just going to reach out and hug you. We're going to change the words to that song.
I love you. Yes.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, Lemia. Thank you for being in my life, in doing the work that you're doing, being in this world at this time of such change and such craziness, to bring that peace and calm and that, just that, the essence to everything. And I'm so grateful for you, grateful for you. I'm just so grateful.
I'm
Thank
grateful
you.
for you too. I'm
Thank
grateful
you.
for nature. I'm grateful for these plants from seed to fruit and all that we have to learn. And again, the journey's just beginning. And we hope to be together for many more amazing things. So thanks for having me. I appreciate you. I love you.
I
And
love you.
you are such a light source on this planet. So thank you for doing the work you do.
Ooh, I'm trying.
No, you're
Sometimes it starts.
But look, you don't give up. I think that's the thing that we see in each other. It's like,
Yes.
we can go through the ups and downs, but we just keep taking that next step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's for everybody listening, and you don't have to do it alone. There are people, ta-da, that are here that are available to help and to guide. And please don't hesitate to reach out. Please don't hesitate to reach out. So Lemia, again, thank you. And we just RaMaHolisticCare.com, theconsciousgroove.com, Sacred Scent Aromtherapy, all of it, doula. What else do we forget? Yoga, YouTube.
And we have a Love Takes Flight Festival that we've done a few. We are going to come back, not this year. We're giving it another year because we just heard China lock down again. So we're just like, let's just play it out. Let's make sure we have a whole year in our pocket, and then we'll come out with this festival again, which we want you there. And
I want to be there.
bringing all the
2023.
resources to one place so we can all play for a day. So that's coming again soon.
So I got chills on that too. Right on. Okay. Thank you so much. And I am going to be putting this out on my newsletter, letting people know. And also on my YouTube. So all my YouTube people, whoops. I'm not sure which side you're on. RaMa Holistic Care. Start there and go find what your heart's been searching for.
Thank you, Michelle. Love you so much.
Thank you. I love you so much. Blessings.